All right, guys, this is part 4 of the presentation I gave at the Cosmic Summit 2024 in Greensboro, North Carolina on Psuedo-Carolina bays. And one of the underlining themes of this entire presentation is that this is really a debate between uniformitarianism and catastrophism that has been going on for nearly 100 years. From the 1930s until now, it's been going back and forth, back and forth. Was it a catastrophic event, or was it something that happened very gradually over hundreds of thousands of years or tens of thousands of years? And make no mistake about it, I absolutely think that when it comes to these Carolina bays, they were formed very suddenly during a catastrophic event sometime in the past. And I'm not the only one. We have other guys that have been doing a tremendous amount of research into this topic. Guys like Antonio Zamora, who I will be sharing the stage with this summer in Greensboro. He thinks that there was an impact into the Laurentide ice sheet at the end of our last ice age, at the onset of the Younger Dryas. And it was the chunks of ice that were ejected from the primary impact site somewhere around the Great Lakes, and the secondary impacts created the Carolina bays. And then we have guys like Michael Davies, who we know very well from being the one to help provide us with all this LiDAR we've been using. He and his research partner, Tim Harris, have been doing a tremendous amount of work. Their hypothesis is completely different. They think that this event happened 786,000 years ago during the mid-Pleistocene, and that these Carolina bays, their idea is that there was an ejecta regolith blanket that moved away from the primary impact site, and that these were more like bubbles that created these Carolina bays. And I personally think that the answer is somewhere in between their two hypotheses. I think that Antonio Zamora is a little more accurate as far as how the Carolina bays formed. Michael Davies and Tim Harris, I have to lean towards their timing of this event. I know that doesn't make a lot of people happy, but there's a lot of evidence that suggests that the Carolina bays are much older than the Younger Dryas. And I believe that evidence is found along the coastlines of North America, and where the old coastlines used to be during previous interglacial periods, like the one that we're currently in. You can see where the ocean and the beach is. 125,000 years ago, there was a beach that was formed, and there was another beach that was formed 400,000 years ago, and there's no Carolina bays below those beaches. And so at least there's none below the 125,000-year-old beach, and there's evidence to show that there was some erosional events that took place between then and 400,000 years. And so that makes them having to be older than 400,000 years, which lines up better with Michael Davies and Tim Harris's explanation of it being a mid-Pleistocene event. So I've got to go where the evidence leads, and that's where it's leading me. Regardless, I do agree that there was an impact event sometime in the past when there was ice over the Great Lakes region. The Carolina bays over here, the Nebraska rainwater basins. I do not think it was wind and water that created these things, and I'll get more into that in just a second. The Michigan basin up there is just, to me, that's the bullseye. I mean, that's a bullseye of where this event took place. Again, a whole nother branch of geology that gets upset with that explanation. But we also even have a gravitational anomaly that is right on par with like the Chicxulub crater, the impact that took out the dinosaurs. And so this would have been a major event. And I think that the geology is there. We just haven't caught up with, how to read this story. And it doesn't help when the current academically accepted hypothesis for the Carolina bays is that these were created by wind and swirling water. And this is coming from guys that are in the Comet Research Group. Guys like Dr. Christopher Moore he's an archaeologist. He's done a lot of work in South Carolina, North Carolina, and he's dug into quite a few Carolina bays. And he suggests that these were created. These were ponds. They were all oriented lakes, and over time, the water swirled them around, and that's what created these Carolina bays. And this is based on the work of a gentleman by the name of Ray Zaworski. This is from back in 1977. He was working on his PhD. He needed to do a dissertation. and he decided he was going to tackle the Carolina bays and link them to the gradualistic explanation for how oriented lakes are formed. Now, keep in mind that this paper was never peer-reviewed. This was something that he turned in as a PhD dissertation. It wasn't published. It obviously went through his the committee that was going to grant him his PhD and all that. But that's not the same thing as publishing in a peer-reviewed paper and having other scientists and peer-reviewed over a length of time. All right, guys, I got to run. Car pickup line is moving. I got to move on. I'll pick up where I left off next time, and we'll catch you then. Bye.